been a busy and eventful week, with most of the news being dominated by protests. Some of them peaceful and some of them not so peaceful. But as the coverage of the protest has been reported, has it been fair or has it been slanted? Joining us to discuss is the media reporter for The Hill, Joe Concha. Joe, good to see you. Welcome back.
Hey, Sean. Hey, Lyndsay. Happy Friday. Happy hour. Good to be with you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So, Joe, it seems I over and over again I keep hearing peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, and it sounds like one of those like there's nothing to see here kind of moments. Do you think the media is intentionally not playing up what's going on in places like Seattle and the rioting and the looting? I know that we're on a lot of that is gone, but not Seattle. But during the whole time that there were riots, it seemed like they wanted to excuse this by saying it was just peaceful.
Not playing up, not playing at all, quite frankly. Just last night, Sean, ABC, NBC, CBS, their evening newscasts, and people say, I don't watch that anymore. Who watches that? 25 million people watch that combined. So it has some influence. They didn't cover even 1 minute of what was going on over in Chaz, that Capitol Hill autonomous zone, where basically you have armed people taking over 8 blocks of a neighborhood and evicting the police and taking over the police station. I would think, let's put it this way. It's pretty easy to kind of gauge this. Let's say a bunch of people in MAGA hats did the same thing to 8 blocks in New York, took it over, armed, long guns, and said, okay, this is our city now, or at least this is our neighborhood. I have a feeling ABC, CBS, NBC, Associated Press probably would be covering it. And then when you see CNN covering it, of course, it's more to be sympathetic towards these people, that they're just peaceful. It's not a big deal. It is a very big deal. We have to take this very seriously, because if this is a precedent that we allow to happen, and we already have, at least the Seattle mayor has, and she calls it, well, maybe it'll be the summer of love, then this will pop up in other cities like Portland and eventually New York, Chicago, so on.
Yeah. You know, Joe, one of the interesting things I think about it is the media is really saying that the ends justify the means here, because how this autonomous zone came all about, like you mentioned, and we've been talking about in this show, it wasn't peaceful at all. Is it maybe peaceful now? Yes, but the media has chose not to do that. Even the Times reporting that people are just coming to hear poems and speeches and watch movies. Like that was the first thing that they're reporting on, this festival vibe where you're getting all this free stuff. Maybe it's peaceful in the last few days, but they have failed to report the reason that we got here was because they pushed these police out of their precincts. So I think it's really interesting that they only want to focus on what's happening now and don't look here, like Sean said, of what was happening at the beginning of the week and over the weekend.
Billions of dollars of damage in places like Minneapolis, New York, Washington. Yeah, it's peaceful now because we're allowing the mob to win. And look, I go back to that Tom Cotton editorial again, where he said the military should be sent in to quell protests. And then there was an ABC poll showing, 52% of people believe that should happen. All right, so in some cities it didn't, like Seattle, for instance, and now they've literally given up basically that autonomous zone. They could be their own nation now at this point. It's barricaded off, and then they actually built a wall, which is kind of ironic, right, to not to get in, and they have armed people guarding it. So how does this end exactly? How do these people leave? Unless the Seattle mayor says, like she said on CNN last night, it's a summer of love, it's peaceful, we should just let them exist. That cannot happen in this country.
Yeah, we just heard that. I mean, the chief of police is literally reaching out, telling what's going on in there. And if the police are telling you that, you know that there's a big problem. Joe, do me a favor, stick around, because coming up next, our first company quiz. It's a mix of current events, pop culture. We're going to have everyone play along with home, but you're going to stick around with us, and we're going to have the whole company take it.